Before hypercars existed, there was the Porsche 959. In 1986, while most sports cars were still using technology from the 1960s, Porsche built a car from the future. It could drive on racetracks, highways, dirt roads, and even across deserts. Many experts call it the first true supercar. With a top speed of 197 miles per hour, it was the fastest production car in the world when it was released. And with only 345 ever built, it's nearly impossible to see one in person. Today, we're exploring the complete story of the Porsche 959. How an experiment to build the ultimate rally car accidentally created a technological masterpiece that changed supercars forever. The story of the 959 begins in the early 1980s. Porsche wanted to go racing in the famous Group B Rally Championship, the same wild, almost no-rules racing series that gave us the Audi Quattro S1E2. But to race in Group B, Porsche needed to build some cars for regular customers too. Porsche started with their famous 911 as the base, but changed almost everything about it. They wanted to create the most advanced Porsche ever, a car that would show the world what they could do when they used all their best ideas in one vehicle. Development started in 1981, and the first concept car was shown in 1983 at the Frankfurt Motor Show. People were amazed by its spaceship-like design and the promise of incredible technology inside. Porsche called it the Gruppe B concept, showing their racing intentions. Ironically, by the time the street version was ready in 1987, Group B racing had already been banned because it was too dangerous. So Porsche never got to race the 959 in the series it was originally designed for, but they did race it in other events, including the Paris-Dakar Rally, a brutal race across the deserts of Africa, which they won in 1986. The 959 was incredibly expensive to develop. Porsche spent so much money creating new technologies for this car that they actually lost money on every single one they sold, even though they cost about $225,000 when new, over $500,000 in today's money. The 959 wasn't built to make money. It was built to show what was possible. Production was very complicated and slow. Each car was largely built by hand, and it took about 5 days to complete a single vehicle. Porsche originally planned to make 200 cars, but strong demand led them to build a total of 345 between 1986 and 1993. The 959 wasn't just a fast car, it was a glimpse of the future. Many features that first appeared on the 959 are now common on regular sports cars. It was a rolling laboratory for Porsche to test new ideas that would later appear in their more mainstream models. The heart of the 959 is its amazing engine. It's a 2.85-liter flat-six with twin turbochargers. This engine produced 450 horsepower, an incredible amount for the 1980s. For comparison, the regular Porsche 911 Turbo at that time had about 300 horsepower. The engine used a special sequential turbocharging system. This means that at lower speeds, only one turbocharger works, making the car easier to drive. At higher speeds, the second turbocharger kicks in, giving maximum power. This clever system reduced turbo lag, the delay before the turbochargers provide boost. But the engine was just the beginning of what made the 959 special. Its body was made using advanced materials, aluminum, Kevlar, the same material used in bulletproof vests, and fiberglass. This made the car strong but light. The shape was tested extensively in wind tunnels to make it slip through the air as smoothly as possible. The most revolutionary feature was the all-wheel drive system, called Porsche Steuerkupplung, PSK. Unlike simple four-wheel drive systems, the PSK could change how much power went to the front or rear wheels based on driving conditions. The driver could even select different modes for different surfaces, like snow, rain, or dry pavement. The 959 had adjustable ride height and adjustable suspension damping, features that are common on supercars today but were revolutionary in the 1980s. At high speeds, the car would automatically lower itself to improve aerodynamics and stability. The performance was mind-blowing for its time. The 959 could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.6 seconds and reach a top speed of 197 miles per hour. Remember, this was in 1986. Many modern family sedans are still slower than the 959 was over 35 years ago. Even the tires were special. Porsche worked with Bridgestone to create run-flat tires specifically for the 959. These tires could still be driven on even after a puncture. The car also had a system that monitored tire pressure, another feature that was decades ahead of its time. Inside, the 959 was surprisingly comfortable. Unlike many supercars that are stripped down and basic inside, the 959 had air conditioning, power seats, a good stereo, and electric windows. It was a supercar you could actually use every day. The transmission was a special 6-speed manual, at a time when most sports cars had only 5 speeds. First gear was specifically designed for off-road use, showing that Porsche really did intend this car to be capable anywhere. Despite all this technology, the 959 still looked recognizably like a Porsche 911, just wider and more aggressive. This connection to Porsche's most famous car helped make the 959 instantly recognizable as a special Porsche, not just another exotic supercar. The Porsche 959 is one of the most collectible cars in the world today. Of the 345 built, experts believe most are still in existence, carefully preserved in climate-controlled garages, but they're rarely seen in public because of their enormous value. Speaking of value, a good Porsche 959 today sells for between $1.5 million and $2 million. Some special versions, like the higher performance Sport model, of which only 29 were built, or cars with famous owners, can be worth even more. The 959 was so advanced that it wasn't even legal in the United States when it was new. The car hadn't been crash-tested to meet US regulations, and Porsche wasn't willing to destroy several of these expensive cars just for testing. A special law called the Show and Display Rule was later created partly because of the 959, allowing historically significant cars to be imported to the US in limited numbers. Famous 959 owners include Microsoft founders Bill Gates and Paul Allen, who each bought one, but had to wait years before they could legally drive them in the US. Other owners included royalty, famous athletes, and successful business people. Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian and well-known Porsche collector, also owns a 959. The 959's influence on car design cannot be overstated. Its all-wheel drive system directly influenced the system used in the Porsche 911 Turbo starting in the 1990s. Its twin-turbo technology became common in many high-performance cars, and its use of lightweight materials pointed the way toward the carbon fiber construction now used in supercars. Perhaps most importantly, the 959 changed what people expected from a supercar. Before the 959, supercars were often beautiful but unreliable, uncomfortable, and difficult to drive. The 959 showed that a supercar could also be user-friendly, comfortable, and reliable enough to drive every day. The 959 also helped cement Porsche's reputation as a technology leader. Before the 959, Porsche was known for making great sports cars, but not necessarily the most advanced ones. After the 959, people looked to Porsche for the latest automotive innovations. Many automotive journalists and car collectors consider the 959 to be one of the greatest cars ever made. It regularly appears on greatest cars of all time lists, not just because of its performance, but because of its historical importance and technological influence. The legacy of the 959 lives on in today's Porsche models. The current 911 Turbo uses an all-wheel drive system that can trace its roots back to the 959's PSK system. The use of twin turbochargers is now standard on many Porsche models, and the philosophy of making usable, comfortable performance cars continues to guide Porsche's designs. Porsche has created other limited production supercars since the 959, including the Carrera GT and the 918 Spider. But many Porsche enthusiasts still consider the 959 to be the most significant because it was such a giant leap forward, not just for Porsche, but for car technology in general. If you're ever lucky enough to see a Porsche 959 in person, take time to appreciate all the details. Look at the smooth, integrated body kit that was years ahead of its time. Notice the hollow spoke wheels that helped reduce weight. And if you hear it running, listen for the distinctive sound of its flat-six engine, a sound that tells you this is not just any Porsche, but one of the most important cars ever made. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed learning about this amazing rare car. Subscribe for more videos about the world's rarest German cars. Let me know in the comments which rare car you want to see next.